Welcome back, everybody. I'm Brimstone, of course, and joined with me here. Did you get the sides right? I always get this mixed up. We've got Fraser and we've got Rook here. We just came back from a really good match between Penta Divina and Team Queen. Really good, of course, because if you hadn't joined us for it, this was the first place team going against the ninth. And the ninth place team in Penta Divina really gave them a run for their money, particularly on in the early rounds. So that was really interesting to see. Pardon me, but we've got a great match coming up here. It's going to be Titanium Cloud Esports going up against Hellside, two very closely matched teams. What can we expect, Rook, from this matchup?
I mean, if you want players to focus on, Shanissa is a very strong player on Hellside Esports. I'm looking forward to them showing us something special here. It is going to be a close match. Both of these teams have performed pretty admirably. They're close in terms of point rounds won, and obviously in terms of actual maps won. So out of all the matches today, I think this is the default, the closest. I think second, third, which is coming after this, is a little bit more different, but this one should be an interesting one to be sure, because they've got the kind of individual styles as well.
Now, as far as carrying, feelings or momentum or maybe lack thereof from last week, you're looking at Titanium Cloud. I mean, they're coming off of a 7-0 loss, but it was against Team Queen, who has been doing that time and time again all season. So you can't really, fault Titanium Cloud for that. And then you've got Hellside coming off of a 7-2 loss to B Titans. But as we said earlier in the show, when B Titans, we were talking about them a little bit, it wasn't really a 7-2 loss. It was much closer than that. So what, Fraser, if you're a player on either of these teams, Hellside or Titanium Cloud, what are you telling yourself to get into the matchup for this week, to get yourself on the right foot?
I mean, I think it's fair to say that Titanium Cloud tend to be a lot more adaptive and a lot more, they favour improvisation, and you can't really counter-strat them because every time they play slightly differently, whether they're more aggressive or they're more passive, or they'll bring different operators that you wouldn't expect. So it's very intimidating at times to try and figure out what they're going to do mentally. So I'd be favouring Titanium here, being frank.
Interesting. Well, let's get into the rosters here. For, of course, Titanium Cloud Esports, we've got Lullaby, we've got Minoka, we've got Jennifer, Pixel, as well as Bogey. Pardon me, going up against Hellside, featuring Loudy, Shanice, Skylia, Stelenia, and Ganesh. Another very good roster as well. And we are getting close to the match. Most players are ready. Let's go into the map ban here, if you gentlemen don't mind. We'll take care of that.
Doing well. Sorry, I'm just trying to quickly check that. My thing isn't loading. So looking at these teams, what kind of thing what do we want? We want the coastline, right? I mean, it may not necessarily be great for the team, but we were talking about it earlier, and I really want to say it.
Yeah, coastline's definitely, it's a fun map, not just to play, but especially if you're a viewer, to watch. And I'm sure if you're a caster, you guys can tell me, probably a pretty fun one to cast on.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll see these bans in just a second. So yeah. So just waiting for these bans to come in just a second. I mean, yeah, I was going to say, Cafe, likely to be banned by Titanium Cloud Esports. They don't really like going there. They're coming thick and fast. So we see Clubhouse, then Consulate and Villa. So which of these three do you think we will be going to then?
I think Border or Coastline, honestly.
I think that Coastline.
I think Coastline would be a good one. I think that's an aggressive map. There's going to be a lot of kills. It's not blank.
We do see Coastline.
Okay,
it does get banned away, Border. So we're going to be going to Coastline. The teams agreed with us. It's going to be fun. Well, hopefully, and it should be relatively close as these teams are pretty much dead even in the standings. So fighting it out for their place.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say that Coastline is an attacker-sided map. I think that we're probably going to see some long sight angles, long lines of sight, a lot of aggressive peaks. I think that it should be quite a bloodbath. Being frank, I think it should be good.
I mean, I love it when we see some very puggy and aggressive playstyles. I mean, that's why I enjoy watching Team Queen. They are a very aggressive team. So, and I think oftentimes you see the best team in a league defines and shapes a lot of the other teams' playstyles around themselves. So I'm excited to see here that we've actually got a lot of very aggressive teams in the league, and I think both of these teams looking to try and get up and in your face.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how Titanium Cloud played today. I mean, in particular, Jennifer on TCE. I'm not going to try and pronounce her username, but she is an absolutely fantastic player. I believe she played Smoke quite a fair bit against Team Queen, and she was the last player standing quite often last week. So it's going to be very interesting to see how she's going to play today.
Yeah, it absolutely is. We're gonna that Titanium Cloud with the first attackers ban. Just 2 seconds, 1 second, and can you see that Nomad band away? I mean, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? I mean, trying to take away the Nomad to stop some of that, allow you to roam more freely.
Yeah, I mean, Nomad coastline stops people jumping out, stops people going for the flank. Interesting, not too much of a surprise, especially for a team that is defending first. Definitely get that out there. Don't have to deal with it ever again.
Indeed. You're going to see Jackal get banned away as well. So it's Roma's paradise right now. Exactly what we want to see. Those Roman players are going to be very key in this upcoming match.
Interesting juxtaposition there of the Jackal being banned out by the attackers. Interesting. I think, okay, you're banning out Jackal, you don't want to play it, you're not planning on playing it yourself. Get it out. Echo, you know, interesting. I think it's not too much of a surprise we're going to see Echo banned out. I believe Echo will have one of the highest ban rates combined with Mira or even a Maestro to a lesser degree. Legion is an interesting pick, though. That's a surprise and a half.
Yeah, not normally a character that draws bans, generally more generically powerful and someone that kind of sits under the radar, unlike things like Echo, where you look at it and go, oh, that's the really important thing. It's a very strong one and often taken away. So surprised to see that, to be sure. But I mean, hey, if you don't want to play it, why not?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people love Legion purely for the versatility of him. He's got so many uses. Not only can he, you know, stop plants going down, he can provide intel. He's got a fantastic weapon. There's no reason not to bring him. Ban him out. It makes things a bit more interesting, a bit more variety. See what happens.
Indeed we will. I mean, we're going to see the Valkyrie from Poki, and I think that's going to be very key to try and keep track of some of these roamers. Kind of, sorry, not keep track of, keep track of players so that the roamers can utilize those cams and get very aggressive pretty safely. So excited to see that part.
Now, I'll fully admit I am honestly terrified of Jennifer on Smoke. Last week, played against Team Queen, 71% of the rounds she was the last player standing. That blows my mind. 5 out of 7 games. That was insane.
Yeah,
so
and that's very
she's
key on
gonna bring that
Smoke because you want to be able to utilize those toxic babes in their move position.
Yeah, I mean, Smoke's gadget by definition is stronger the less time there is left. Alright, so the less time there is, the stronger he is because he can ban out or he can deny a plant for up to, I can't remember the exact time, but it's generally about like 42 seconds in total. You've got like 10 to 11 seconds of smoke time per canister. You've got 3 of them. It's great.
Yeah, and I mean, we were talking about the first match where the kind of theme of the first half was all about time, and if that seems to be true here, especially with the Roamers, you know, distracting and slowing players down, that it could be very key. And with this player lasting all the way till the end, Jennifer could be key.
Yeah, I mean, time management is key. If you have that, you're probably going to do better than the other team.
And I wish I had good time management, but that's just my university. I mean, these teams looking to try and not get pigeonholed, honestly, because if they do, it will be very difficult. For example, in a retake or just straight up trying to take it in the first place. I do like this kind of sensible push, though, from Hellside.
Yeah, I mean, it's logical, it makes sense. I like that they know what they're doing, and it doesn't feel as random or disorganized, as you might expect, for the first round in a game.
They're playing from below as well, which I think is very important to try and put that pressure down, because there are a lot of destructible floors on these sites in particular.
I feel a wee bit silly saying this, but I think this might be the first time we've seen the Ash being played like this for vertical control this week.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, Bogey finding that frag, first one in the round. Lullaby forced out of position by the Capital. Bolt's doing a lot of work, and Bogey is going to try and rotate around and pick off a couple of these players once they get their information. But Stelania is on the hunt. Going to turn that corner, get right on into her back.
That is unfortunate for Bogey, but again, there was just no call out, no intel. It's not too much of a surprise there. The Bogey goes down.
Jennifer picking off Stelania in response. And I mean, now it's 2 versus 3. Not too much health though remaining on some of these players. Shinisa playing from this window definitely can frag out and has a lot of utility still there in the smokes. So should be able to set themselves up to go in and get a plant. They need to be careful about the players just waiting around the corner. Ganesh needs to find a way on in.
Attackers don't have the diffuser right now, so they're going to have to pick that up before they can even attempt to go for a plant. It doesn't matter if you're already in hookah if you don't have diffuser, so they're either A, going to have to go for a frag, or B, pull some magic out of there.
Indeed. Ganesh finding that first frag is going to be very important. The spray comes on in. Lullaby hits the hay. And Pixel is the last remaining player, however, covering the diffuser. He's going to have a perfectly lined up shot. That was a mistake and a half, but righted the wrong. Shinisa does actually manage to close out that round after a bit of a mistake.
that would be a good night moment by Shanish. She probably will not live that down for a round or two. However, righting or wrong, getting the kill, it's fair enough. Got the win. That's
as long as you win that round, that's fine. But if you lost, like, that's a big.
So can you imagine how awkward that would be for Shanish if she nailed her teammate in the head? Fantastic shot, but ran out of ammo doing it, peeked the corner, and died to the last defender.
That's the classic. Like, you hit the really nice shot, but it's onto your teammate. Yes, it's kind of sad.
I'm sure her teammates are probably okay. They've accepted it's happened. They've moved on. They're happy they won a round. Moving on to round number 2.
Picking her around early feels pretty good as the offense takes control. Even with some awkward situations early on, we saw some big fragging, which led to them being able to pick it regardless.
Gonna be interesting to see how the defenders choose to play this one now. I wonder if TCE. Sorry, I can't do words. I'm Scottish, not English. I wonder how they're going to play this. I wonder if they're going to try and play it a little bit differently, considering how the attackers played last round.
Yeah, I mean, it was broken, so fix it. The reverse of it's not broke, so don't fix it. I want to see them do things a little bit differently, or at least, unless they believe that the reason they lost was because they missed a couple of angels, which is pretty fair. They lost 2 players for no good reason, basically. And if they don't do the next time, that pre-plant right at the end of the round feels pretty darn good, and you can close it out. You just need to not make the mistakes this time.
I do like this. I like the push being made by Hellside. I think they've got a bit more of an idea of how they want to take this. Now, looks like we are going for an office push potentially by the Ash.
Going to put themselves into position, but also I like that Minoka's like sitting over in this theater area, trying to make sure that they can get that flank if possible.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're holding upstairs, office control is key. Holding on to like the opposite side site, so whether it be like a theater or whether it be down in office, I like Minoka in theater. It makes sense. Holding on to penthouse or the southeast stairs. Very versatile position.
There's a little bit of lag coming through for these players. They are playing relatively slowly. The X-Karos will manage to resolve on some of those walls. She's still trying to spam on through and get that shot, but doesn't quite land it. So, gonna try and move positions now and try a different angle, a fresh new take. as Scalia is the one to pick up that first kill of the round. Minoka, split off from the rest of the team, gets taken out.
Very unfortunate to lose Jaeger so early on. Jaeger generally will be one of your main fraggers alongside the Doc. Very unfortunate. But Pixel making the most of it. Getting a nice kill into the Capto as the Maestro is revived.
Absolutely. See frags going back and forth. Hellside still up a player after those initial shots hit. This time they're feeling a lot more comfortable in this late game situation. A pick onto Lullaby is exactly what you want to see as well. And only Jennifer is the last remaining player. You were talking about that statistic, and this is exactly it.
So it looks like Smoke trying to smoke off the default plant spot inside of B, but that's the wrong plant site. Or actually, correction, on A, that's the wrong site. Looks like they're going to go for a B push.
Jennifer does move. They're going to try and smoke it off so they can't push onto them. But, unfortunately, there's players on both sites, and they are not aware of this in the slightest. And the plant could just go down. Scalia moving into position now.
Yeah, smart move would definitely be go for a hooker plant, cover it from A, don't risk it.
Yeah, smoke goes down. Nice shot there from Jennifer. Will she be able to clutch out this round? 2 versus 1 in a post-plant scenario. No more utility. It's all down to bullets and bullets alone. Jennifer trying to sneak on in, but unfortunately, as soon as they go for this plant, they'll pounce. Hellside waiting in the wings. Doesn't manage to find the headshot, unfortunately, there. So he's going to struggle to deal with this player sitting on stairs. And they go for the defuse now. There's no one watching.
She could do this.
Yeah, she can. I
She
mean,
can manage this. They've got to push it, but they're not going to do it.
Yeah, no. They come on in. They don't manage to spam it in time, and that's Titanium Cloud stealing round 2 from underneath their nose.
See, Jennifer knows the true strategy behind this game. Pros don't bake. Alright. She stuck that plant, correction, she stuck that diffuser, and she held on to it. Very unfortunate for Gress, wasn't able to push that quickly enough. Secure a win for TCE.
I mean, yeah, that was a big mistake from Hellside. You have loads of time. You have multiple players as well, so you could just like peek that and spray. And we even saw them running up to try and do it, but not expecting them to be in that place. So, fundamental mistake, honestly. And netting TCE that first win.
I like the concept of the Ash going on to double window to try and deny the push through theater, but it was too little too late. She's already inside of hooker, and Ash can't do anything from there. She can't rotate to the balcony in time.
She absolutely can't. So, I mean, that's the thing. I do like, again, this Mozzie. We were talking about Mozzie before. Taking control of drones, going to be very important. Taking away information from the attackers, hell yeah, I'll do that. Gaining some for yourself, that's awesome.
See, so it makes sense that you bring the Maestro, it makes sense you bring the Smoke, and even the Castle, the Mozzie is a great pick. Just so much versatility and usability. There's so many options available when you bring a Mozzie. You could play upstairs, which is what it appears Bogey is planning on doing, potentially putting down those pests to deny the drone work.
Well. You can see Bogey hopefully having a great time. I mean, I want to see TCE do something a little different, because both of those defenses were, I mean, they weren't particularly great. They unfortunately weren't able to really put together a strong post-plant or a strong pre-plant in either direction, honestly. So I want to see them on this new site, change things up, and really manage to hold, because if we see a repeat of the last round, I don't think you get so lucky next time.
Yeah, I definitely think that they need to work together a little bit more here the last round. Yeah, it was a win for them, but at what cost? It very easily could have been a loss for them. It's a nice placement upstairs by Hellside. Nice room clearance so far, trying to push up into the VIP lounge in a minute or two. See, so I really like the fact that they've got the upstairs control. It's a good idea. Skyly are able to cut off that rotate, gets its second kill onto Bogey.
Nice stuff there. Swings on in, and is aware of their surroundings, picks up 2, and yeah, now takes control of the site. And sorry, not the site, the upstairs, and also puts them at a numbers advantage.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you want to see the attackers do. You want to see the Blackbeard take point, take top control, and allow the sledge to go down and basically wreak havoc on the site from above. Bit of a surprise we don't see the sledge already upstairs. I mean, that's where she should be. But you know, it is what it is. It's taking our time. This is a bit of a mistake, to be frank. Sledge should be upstairs doing his job. I don't understand why he's not.
A little bit weird, but if it works, if they can make it work, they can make it work. She does need to move on into that toilet as soon as possible to try and put some pressure down, but needs to be respectful as well of the players still waiting in here, as Jennifer did jump on out and puts himself in a good position. Loudy getting a nice angle, takes down Manoka. However, does go. You see that Jennifer does go down. This is not looking good for TCE, as it's just one player left standing.
Looks like Lullaby trying to do her best to hold on to sight. Nails the Ash.
Holding very well so far, finds 2 quick frags and holding fantastically. Finds the 3rd. This could be an ace potentially.
Scalia managed to get diffuser down. There's good placement there with that diffuser. Unfortunate there. Still linear on the angle.
Yeah, no, that was really nice to actually manage to get that from Scalia. Finally, Hellside. I mean, they were hemorrhaging players. It was looking a little bit unfortunate looking there. But
you do have to feel for Lullaby there. Just trying to hold down, and she's holding like 3-4 angles at one point there, and it's just not going to work out in the end.
Yeah, so I mean, Scalia really showing up so far, and I like that they continue to be on this Blackbeard. I think it's fantastic for them. And they can definitely utilize it on those windows. But they're using it as well to secure top floor control, regardless of what's happening, and then push from there. You were highlighting it earlier on, and I do really like it, especially when you manage to find those couple of picks early on. It feels pretty darn good.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Blackbeard has 2 main roles, in my opinion. He holds windows, holds lines of sight, and he takes point. Alright, whether it be pushing through a doorway first or pushing through a window first, he gets control, and then gives that to his teammates to then you know, make use of, whether it be with a fuse or a sledge or a buck or so on and so forth.
Indeed. And I mean, yeah, utilizing the sledge is going to be the key part of that, as they're looking to put this vertical pressure on. Even though they didn't last round, they still managed to succeed. A bit strange to see, but never works, I guess.
I mean, at the end of the day, if it looks stupid but it works, it ain't stupid, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing Bogey upstairs again. Not too much of a surprise with the Mozzie. It makes sense you'd have majority of his or her utility spent upstairs.
Yeah, wants to try and stop them from taking top floor control again this time, because last time they got pretty murked by the Blackbeard. This time, hopefully not getting caught out in the same way.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense if they're trying to take upstairs as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and they are moving through it pretty promptly, loudly. Looking to move on through here. Aware that Pixel is waiting just down the end of the corridor. We can't see anything just yet.
I wonder if there's anybody actively drone. Oh no, that's what you hate to see. An Ash on drone.
Bogey gets caught out. They try to shoot down the hallway. They do manage to trade 1 for 2 in total. So Hellside doing well and taking top floor control with 2 minutes in the bag.
Alright, so we do have the sledge upstairs now, as well as the Ash. They're definitely focusing on having that upstairs control. Potentially we've got to spot out the Maestro on drone there. Under a default area. She gets up in time.
Lullaby trying to catch someone from underneath, but unlikely to actually get it.
That's got to be bloody terrifying, hasn't it? Knowing that there's an LMG underneath you with an ACOG. And you're just like,
yeah,
playing hot potato, like the floor is lava. Stellini are doing her best, but not spotting her yet.
No. We're waiting for the watershed moment here. We need to see Hellside do some moving around, as right now they found nothing from above. They put a lot of pressure on, but not done anything with it. Hellside starting to move a player at the very least down with Loudy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a shame that it's not really working out as of yet for Hellside. However, in practice, hopefully they'll be able to pull something out of this. TC, strong positioning right now.
They did. Good to see Stellania try and bounce that frag over, but unfortunately gets stopped by the kitchen countertop. Scully finding that pick again with this Blackbeard and spraying through. Stellania picks up another. They now have potential control. They do have control of the A site. Lullaby, last one remaining again. See if they can pick up a 3k yet again. But nope. Stellania expecting it, knowing exactly where she would be.
Yeah, it's fantastic teamwork and coordination by Hellside. They knew what they were doing. Incredible work there, especially with that call out. Presumably, the Maestro was drawn down and called out. It's really good to see.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do here if you're TCE? You've been struggling to find these defensive rounds and constantly getting out-rotated. The attack of Hellside seems exceptionally strong.
Yeah.
Really, what are you going to do about it?
I mean, being frank about it, the only round that TC has won so far, arguably, was more down to a mistake on Hellside's part, in terms of being too far away from the diffuser. That was the only real reason that TC won that round, was simply Hellside weren't there to protect the diffuser when they could have done. Simple enough.
Yeah. Bit of a mistake, unfortunately, but yeah. I mean, that's just like evidence of how well Hellside have been playing. Is even if you look at the players who aren't fragging, a player I highlighted, Shinissa, on this Capital, he's got 5 assists. They've been very present in this game, regardless of whether they find those frags or not. It's definitely a team effort, even if a lot of the frags are on individual players.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, 100%. And bear in mind, Shunisha also did, to be fair, team kill. It's a fantastic shot. It was a really nice shot. Hopefully she can also convert that into enemy kills as well. Hopefully she will manage that this round.
Absolutely.
I do really like the attack so far by Hellside. I think it's been really good, and I think it's something that a lot of teams should be paying attention to, especially in the future. Again, it just works. It's fantastic work by Hellside.
It is. I mean, Hellside looking to try and take control again, taking down multiple players, and just, I mean, looking to try and close out Lullaby here, who is lurking behind bar here, waiting for someone to push on in. Takes a bit of damage.
I don't know how I feel about trying to hold an angle with Scorpion Evo. Arguably, it's probably not going to work out for you. Spot out the Blackbeard. However, not able to land a shot there. Pixel living up to her name right now, actually. The Louis Pixel peek through the bomb chassis.
Oh, they're just losing players left, right, and center. She managed to drop down and get out of dodge. Barely Pixel escapes. But it's going to be difficult to push on through. Managing to find that pick there is very, very nice. But now only even in players does manage to heal themselves back up. 1 minute 30 on the clock, and Hellside are dangerously close to these sites.
I would definitely be feeling hot under the collar right now, if I was Hellside. I'd be a bit worried. I'd be looking at this and going, hey, alright, maybe we should be getting a little bit concerned. We should, you know, pay a bit more attention here. What's going wrong? Jennifer, nice little angle as well.
They tried to nade on through to smoke that off, but unfortunately, only the Jaeger finding that. And great peek here from Pixel, utilizing the lower floor. Scully trying to circumvent, but unfortunately, Pixel is just backed right off and just playing passive. They know that they can continue to pressure and earn time for free.
See, this is a fantastic play by Pixel, holding that angle, knowing that they have to either, the attackers have to either push her or risk her flanking around in a post plant. They have to kill her or go for a plant. And it doesn't look like they're going to try and kill her. They're just going to let her be. Go for a plant.
Nice shot there from Minoka. 1 versus 1. The pre-fire does come on in, but now they're concussed, and well, Skylia is going to struggle to win out this round. 2 players converge on their position. They try and go for the plant. It's almost certainly going to be dead, but they don't have much time. They have to just go for it, you know? And they're not going to be able to find these frags, and it's going to find one. It goes but too late. TCE pick up round 5 here, and I mean, when it comes to very late times and dealing with bombs, I mean, TCE seem to have it down.
The 2 operators you do not want to play against in 5 seconds left is a smoke and a dog. The 2 operators you never want to have to play against. She manages to kill off the smoke. However, it's not enough. She's unable to press F fast enough, and the plant's unable to go down. Just gives TCE their second win for 1 round.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen some pretty impressive play from Hellside, but in that round, it seemed like TCE really had the drop on them. They got a couple of those frags through. They managed to hold defending properly. And they had a couple of players who were dying earlier on in the rounds. This time, they held strong, didn't get picked off early, and when it comes down to later in the round, TCE have been performing pretty admirably.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see they've now gone over to Penthouse Theatre, a site that's generally fallen out of favour from most teams. They prefer to go down into Kitchen and then even like Blue Bar, for example, rather than play Penthouse. You'd also usually see this site being played on Mira. So it's always fun to see how this is going to work out.
It is. We have a new Penthouse here. So this time, interestingly, the one time we actually don't see the Blackbeard from the attacking side is the time we actually go to Penthouse. So a bit lucky there.
It's also interesting to see that they haven't, and also kind of surprising, they haven't 6-picked. Neither team 6-picked this round. And you've got to wonder, if this game is is as close as it is, why wouldn't you? Nice early pick there by Pixel onto Skylier. That is the IQ down. Also dropping the diffuser outside of Hooker Valkyrie.
Yeah.
It's not a good position to be in.
Pretty bad. I mean, without that drone, it's going to be difficult for Loudy to make any move on into Hall of Fame. Loudy waiting around this corner, VIP. But is looking for an aggressive PK, but unfortunately won't find anyone. For the most part, TCE playing relatively passive, and Hellside will recover that diffuser, importantly.
Yeah, I think it's fair enough and smart enough that TCE have recognized, hey, we've got an advantage right now. Let's not push that. Let's give them space to recover the diffuser and try and recover from their losses. Like, it makes sense. Don't push it if you don't have to.
Absolutely. Minoka trying to land those shots, but unfortunately doesn't even get the drone. Loudy trying to spray through the wall, but doesn't quite find it. You see Mayhem breaking loose. Delinia will find a kill, but Pixel does actually manage to take out Loudy in the end. So it feels pretty brutal.
So like Minoka was having a wee bit of issue with drone there, was unable to hit that at all, whilst getting pressured from 2 sides. Pixel able to push back out of that, looking now into Nighthoe.
Indeed. Still Delinia gonna try and move on through.
Side should have. Side should have no issue with this.
Someone waiting around that corner though. Needs to be careful. He's expecting it. And the thing is, the call-out was there. Pixel manages to get that for pretty much free, as the cam was in the perfect position.
That was a bit of a shame there for the sledge. Looks like Doc knew exactly what they were doing. Specifically, as you mentioned, because of the Evil Eye. Looks like Zofia are going to try and get out of that. However, Ganesh manages a shot through the drone hole. Through to Pixel, lets the Doc down.
Yeah, the Doc being down. Nice pick as Pixel has been very impressive, but the thing is, time is so far against them. There's a smoke on side, and Well, you have to rush on in, and well, doesn't really help you here as Titanium Cloud even up 3-3 on this first half, them on defenders, but now they'll be moving over to attack. I wonder if they'll be able to replicate the same success.
You know, I think it's always important to remember, especially as an attacker, if there's 10 seconds left, if you're sprinting, you're probably going to run into it into a defender. You probably want to keep your finger off that, or put yourself into a position where you don't have to sprint into sight in the first place, because it's probably not going to end well.
Absolutely.
The line and a gridlock being brought out. Oof.
Really
Okay,
looking to
then.
lock players down and those roamers out.
What's with 6-pick over to Pulse from the dock? Okay then. Actually, okay. Over to the Vigil. That's fair. Pulse always valuable, especially with the intel. Vigil arguably more so if you are focusing on trying to roam a little bit more. Bear in mind, Jackal is already banned out. Doesn't look. Yeah, exactly. Like, why wouldn't you want to play roam on a map that's fairly roam heavy?
Yeah, and I think of all the players to do it on Hellside, Scalia, Big Fragger, why not? Use them, try to get those flanks off, play a bit lurky, and from there, just get a couple of those kills down and really skew it in your favor, as well as gaining you time.
Mm-hmm. I'm really interested to see how they play it with the line. I'm really curious about that, as well as a gridlock. M249 Soul most likely should be able to hold out on the window, reverse repel like a Batman, and shouldn't have any issues here. Lady over in luggage. Interesting.
So, DC Pixel on this line. I'm interested to see how they're going to use that properly and how coordinated they will be in their use of it. Whether they've got some of that practice down. I mean, and also whether they use it to get that kind of below control so they can blow through with the buck.
Yeah, I mean, you've said it yourself. Line is absolutely fantastic for shutting down that roam, helping out in conjunction with another person, pushing, and potentially even a third person on a drone. It's fantastic, especially when used with teamwork. Which is something we know that TC are fairly adept at.
He's just going to jump on in. Jennifer leading the charge on this Havana. Looking for a way on through as Bogey on this buck is looking to try and, with the bottom floor control, to put some holes underneath and be a right old pain in the ass.
Yeah, generally speaking, you don't see the buck getting kill specifically from vertical control. It's more about pushing and disrupting the other team, pushing them into other people's line of sight, which is what I would hope that she's planning on doing there.
Scalia, though, waiting in the wings, picks up Bogey. And now the buck is very much, sorry, the line is very much aware. Pixel going to try and root out that Vigil.
Yes, that's quite a fair bit of lost utility there. However, managing to get that refrag at least.
Yeah, nicely played.
Bit of a shame. I imagine the buck probably died with both frag grenades left, which is not a position you want to leave your team in. I'd say that was a good trade. Vigil for a buck. It's fair. 1 minute left.
One thing I'm surprised not to see is the IQ to try and deal with some of these electronics, especially those Valkyrie cams, which are going to be pretty key in this run. Pixel looking to try and get a pinch on this Jackal.
Yeah, I mean, definitely advantage over two defenders right now.
Yeah, especially with that pick there.
Defenders definitely have the advantage now. It's kind of 4v2. Like, 30 seconds left. Not a lot of opportunities here. Short of clutching out and fragging out.
Oh, that's a nice one there from Minoka. They are now only one player down, but Lullaby trying to find this other angle and get someone else, but it's going to be hard to do so. There's someone waiting right around the corner, and you don't really have great ways of pushing on in. The spray does come on through, and that will be Hellside picking up round 7.
It's great work by Hellside. They held the angles, they held the line of sight, and they pushed them into crossfires. That was great. That's great work. I believe there's 3 people there, 3 different angles being held there by the defenders in total. That's mad. Again, Mozzie being brought out, that's always good to see.
Yeah, we were talking about the Mozzie before, and again, it's part of this information control that we're kind of expecting. Stellania being very key on that as well on this Valkyrie. And we're not seeing an IQ. Again, I don't think I expect to see it 6 pick. There we see it from Bogey. Very sensible 6 pick. But we potentially see this clash coming out again. Yeah, from Sky.
What a shame.
And that's a big fragger.
Out of all of the operators you could swap out to, or swap out from, you swap the Zofia. Alright. The defenders totally won that 6 pick phase. Because
yeah, really did.
You swap out a Zofia for an IQ, you lose the lifeline. That's one of the best ways to counter a clash. Unlucky.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult to deal with that big threat of the clash now. I don't know what they're going to be planning to do. They're going to have to kind of finagle their way around that some manner. I mean, at the very least, they have some of those gridlocks so they can prevent it from moving forward and around too much. But that's all they can really do.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the frag grenades with Sledge, they've got the track stingers. That's about it. What are you going to do? Like, shoot curse words at her? I'm pretty sure she already does that herself. Like, you needed those lifelines. It's going to be a constant source of intel from Skylayer for as long as she's alive.
I mean, the thing is, right, how much are you expecting this clash? That's the big question.
Yeah. Not a lot.
Yeah, and they're already very information heavy. They have the Maestro, which can do a bit of it. They have the Mozzie. They have the Valkyrie. They've put a lot into information gathering. And if they don't get anything off of it, you feel a little bit awkward about this defense.
And I like the teamwork here. I like the coordination between Lady and Skylayer. Skylayer likely going to be calling out whoever pushes onto the Valkyrie, and the Jaeger covering, Lady covering that as best as she can.
Indeed. Track Stinger's going to drop there. And make sure no one can do that run out. Loudy looking for an opportunity as the tracks are thrown on in. They will clean them up.
No, she's missed one or two of them. However, doesn't really do too much damage.
Oh, that could have been a nice spray there from Loudy. Unfortunately, he doesn't find the kill. Lullaby is still trying to hold on the way on into VIP. But Bogey peaks at the worst possible time. It's taken down by Shanissa from the side.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic pick right there. Take out the IQ. You're not going to find those Valkyrie cams. You're not going to find the Mozzie pests.
That's a really nice defense. That pick on the player who's moving in to try and get the pinch on the clash was unfortunately stopped and unable to get anything. 1 to 5, and that's going to be difficult. Pixel does find a kill, but it's 1 versus 4, and you're against the clash. It's going to be difficult.
If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Pixel. I believe in her. I do believe in her. Out of anyone in TC, she's got the potential to clutch this. 1 minute left, half health. Let's do it.
Pixel playing it slow. Wants the information, wants to move into position. As soon as you get spotted by that clash, it's going to be much, much harder. The frag does come on in. And they will be able to still push on aggressively towards her. She no longer has it. Turns their back for a second, and Hellside will not miss that chance.
This is a perfect example of how you use a 6 pick. You pick an operator that the other team aren't expecting, and you use that to maximum effect. You use that for all of its intel, all of its denial, area denial. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I don't imagine we'll see it again. Skylayer picking out the pulse. She did her. Yeah, it's swapping over to the mute. That's fair. She did originally swap over from the Rook initially to a pulse. Makes sense that she swapped over to the mute. I like this. Monty being brought out by Bogey. I believe this is the first Montaigne played today.
Yep, definitely today. But yeah, I mean, they saw shields. They went, we can do that. And so they're bringing out the right.
I wonder, who would you be more scared of seeing on the other team in a 1v1? Would it be a Clash or a Monty?
Oh, Monty, like, always wins 1v1s, pretty much, unless you really mess up.
I think...
I mean, the situation where that doesn't happen is if it's not, like, in post-plant, it's Monty. Prior to that, Monty struggles to, like, get a kill in and of themselves. It is more of a team play, but I think the Monty's definitely more generically strong.
So it's going to be interesting to see how Bogey will integrate this, or Monty, into their strategy. I imagine they probably practice quite a fair bit. I imagine she'll probably be pretty familiar of how to play Monty and how to play it well with her team.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Yeah, I mean, look, you don't play Monty if you don't know how to play Monty. That's pretty much the rule. If you do, you can lose pretty handily.
Yeah, I mean, let's be frank here. Nobody plays a shield and doesn't quite know how to play it. They either never play a shield or they main it.
Yeah.
And hopefully Bogey will be a Monty main.
Loading new magazine.
Looks like a heavy emphasis on that service entrance at the moment. Bogey pushed in, hopefully going to deny any C-Force or bait them out.
Yeah, should I say, trying to get another angle on towards it. Bogey just going to back off. Doesn't want to push too far forward. As they are waiting for other players. The C4 comes on it, takes out a portion of the health bar, but not quite enough to down Bogey here.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of focus on it from Hellside, which means there's a lessened presence elsewhere for TCE to engage.
see, so Skylayer should still have Harsh C4 available for a plant in a second, I imagine. Bogey will push in a little bit more, and then Jennifer close in behind. It's generally how this game is played. You'll bait out 1 or 2 C4s, depending on how many operators you know are around, and then you take it from there.
Indeed. Ganesh is watching and waiting. Jennifer is going to try and take the angle. We'll move on forward, but is unable to actually find any angles where they can fight players right now. So we do see, again, on the top floor, Pixel looking to try and take control.
Yeah, top floor control is incredibly valuable, especially for this site, specifically in service entrance, or correction, specifically in our penthouse looking down into bathroom and VIP into kitchen respectively. Looks like Jennifer probably going to go in for a plant. Yep. This is where that C4 comes into play here. Call out should be coming in from the defenders.
Oh, the plant doesn't go down. Really nice play there to get that kill from the side. And now it's pretty brutal. You have 45 seconds on the clock, and then Monty's the one with the bomb. They're going to try and use Pixel on this Capital to set up something, but as the cross comes in, they get the down.
Oh, this is what you hate to see it.
TCE goes down as well, and finally, we see that last player go down. The Monty is nothing on their own, and a flawless round from Hellside Esports. Maybe don't go back to that Monty.
Alright, last man standing, or last lady standing in this case, definitely the Monty. Very unlucky, just kind of having to stand around there, giving constant intel probably to her team, but not really able to directly impact the round. As well as she could have done if she had, say, a rifle. Bit of a shame, but hopefully, you know, lesson learned, they're not going to bring another shield.
Yeah, well, hopefully so. Doesn't look like it here. I like the IQ for Bogey. We were talking about it before.
Yeah.
Other than that, I see a lot of picks that we've seen before, but there's a reason to it. They're really strong. They bring a lot of utility. The Mozzie is something we were talking about, is very important. And the Vigil back in hand for Skylia, which I really do like.
I really like seeing Skylayer on Vigil. She did a fantastic job killing off that buck, taking out his frag grenades from the board, and overall wasting a hell of a lot of time. That's absolutely great to see. Kind of surprised to see Bogey on the IQ. Honestly, like, I mean, it's good, you know, it's always valuable, especially when they've got a Vigil. We generally don't see Vigil being baited out by the IQ. It's generally more for the Valkyrie cameras or any other form of utility such as the ADS.
Indeed.
10 seconds to go.
I do also like the ground lock. I think it's a very good idea. Track stingers, always valuable. Cover that flank. Allow yourself a little bit more cover from any potential roamers.
Indeed, I do really like how it functions in a and like, there's so many things you can play around. I think it's a very fantastically designed ability. In general, it allows you to split off the pieces of the map, and much akin to claymores, but in a kind of more all-encompassing and section rather than an area. And it's much easier to know when someone's coming than dealing with an entire claymore.
Yeah, I mean, by function, it is an area of denial. Like, it stops anybody going in that area. Otherwise, they are going to take a lot of damage. Cover a diffuser ban in that. Whilst you're shooting at a defender, they're not getting through. Simple enough.
Pest Launcher does manage to net a drone for the defending side, so it's a +1, -1. Bogey looking from the top to try and put some pressure down, but it's going to be difficult because no one's really going to expose themselves in such a manner. Jennifer is going to open up that wall a bit and set up for some angles onto sites.
Yeah, I would expect they're probably going to go for a B
A
push.
bomb has been located.
You know, we've seen that they definitely favor that. They prefer it. They haven't had as much success trying to push in through Aqua. So hopefully they'll learn from that. They'll say, hey, this ain't working out. Let's try something new.
Indeed. Lullaby trying to utilize this hole in the wall to put some pressure down, but won't be able to find the angle.
Look at the amount of roamers downstairs on the east side down by the lobby. Like, that's a heavy presence right there.
Yeah, looking to try and catch him off guard. And I mean, Stellini are finding the opening frag, showing there are signs of lives on these sites. Shinisa also holding up. I mean, it's just all about moving past that point, and that's going to be the really hard part for TCE here, because they don't really have much utility to go on and do that. You can't just, peek around. I mean, apparently Shinisa can get away with peeking aggressively, does a lot of damage, but doesn't quite manage to land a kill onto Lullaby. And Lullaby, smokes are basically the only tool they have left to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, advantage of the LMG can pre-fire all that all day long, and you'll likely get 1 or 2 rounds on target. Lullaby trying to push up a little bit now.
Indeed. Lullaby tries to peek, but was just a little bit too aggressive. Loudy was waiting right over there, and we see, well, you can't just push on up. But Jennifer on this other flank, alongside Pixel, could be exactly the position they need. However, they lose the Angels, and Hellside pick up round 10. That will be GG 7-3, as Hellside showing dominant in this matchup between the middle of the table.
Yeah, that's an absolutely fantastic game by Hellside. They really showed their dominant side there during the attack rounds, and I'm incredibly impressed by how they played there. I think they did really well, especially on that individual. That was really well done by her.
Well played as a whole. And then look at that spread. Even Shinisa, who's like the one player who didn't get too many kills, has a bunch of assists. And that denotes a team who are playing on the same page and coordinating. And I think that's honestly the reason why they took this. They were all on the same page.
You know, I think it's fair to say that she even actually had 6 kills when you also include her teammate. I think it's very important to remember.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
6 kills.
Speaking of teammates, Brimstone, how do you feel about that?
You know what? The match, it was a great match, don't get me wrong, but I think the difference between the two teams is you saw one team in Hellside who they had it together, they were communicating well. There were a lot of plays where we could see, and credit to our sorry, I'm blanking on the word here, medics who was operating our cams there. We could see those plays where Hellside was gaining information and they were conveying that to each other. And TCE, at times they were doing well, but they couldn't, it just seemed like pull things together. It just wasn't tight enough in that match.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You need to be able to get it down on lock. You need to drill a lot of these strategies. And unfortunately, they didn't manage to do that enough. And I think that's why Hellside were able to take it. They got a couple of edge case wins here and there. But on the whole, Hellside, evidently the strongest side.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take a Waz stab in the dark and say Hellside definitely practiced Coastline with the Jackal ban. I think they definitely went in there knowing and having that emphasis on, hey, as soon as we're defending, we're going to roam heavy. We're going to try and hold off site. We're going to see what we can do with that. And I think that really worked out for them.
I think this game was a prime example of what it is when an entire team comes together versus another team that's trying to find its identity and relies maybe too much on one player, being Pixel, who did a fantastic job, and no knock to the other players. It seemed like they were each doing playing their game, but that game wasn't maybe a together sort of the game that they needed to pull out that victory. but a great match nonetheless. Coming up here, just after a quick little break, we're going to have North Sea Gaming going up against Spies. This is going to be an interesting one. It's two teams with identical records going up to see who can walk away with that solidified second spot. So stick around, grab a drink, go to the washroom, whatever you need to do. We'll see you in just a few minutes.